Greetings all. Welcome to another edition of Hanging Out While I'm Doing Stuff. Today's subject is ERRF, the East Coast Rep Rap Festival that I attended last weekend. And it was a great event. Like all those events, it's the people that make the difference. I go there to see the people, and I buy too much stuff because it's easier to drive this stuff across the border in the back of my car and cheaper than it is to pay to ship it, especially heavy stuff. So this year I decided to get a table at the event, an exhibitor table. Gave me a place to sit and stash my gear and the stuff that I bought so I could make less trips back to the car across the parking lot. And it was a really good event. If anybody saw, I shot just a walk around video and posted it a couple of days ago. Just as if you were there, just walking around. If people were in the way, people were in the way. Tried to get around some of them. Saw a lot of familiar faces in those videos when different people were talking to different vendors and people displaying their stuff. And I'm just going to, there's Venturi 3D, Chris Lane in the chat. Welcome. I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff here, and certain items will hopefully make my brain remember things that were kind of cool. I think the coolest thing I saw there that was new to me was what's their name? Twisted Dimensions 3D Studios. He had a 102 camera full body scanning system. You just stood there. It took the pictures like that. It used a series of Raspberry Pis. There was 100 plus Raspberry Pis and Pi cams, and it just captured your image instantly. Didn't have to worry about standing still for a minute or anything. It was just boom like that. And he's going to do photogrammetry when he got back home. He's going to work on processing all the images. I forget how many hundred people he scanned, but it's going to take him a little while. People have been asking when they're going to get their 3D image, and I think it's going to be a little while. It's good. It takes a long time to process 100 images into an object and then clean it up a little bit so that it looks like you. My experience with photogrammetry is it's going to take him a while, but I'm sure he's getting it down to a science by the time he's done this project. I thought it was fair that instead of charging you a fee up front for the scan, he's going to email everybody their results when he gets them done. And then if you like it, he's just going to ask for a donation. I thought that was more than fair. And I think this was a great test of his business model for this. And hopefully it all works out. And we can all have models of ourselves to not share with others because people might do things with them. You never know. Right, Robbie Mack? And so that was my favorite thing. They were upstairs a little bit out of the way because they needed space where nobody would walk into the rig, because it was, if you saw it, it was, and unfortunately I didn't shoot any video of it. Camera error, operator error. I got home, there's no footage of it. I walked around and looked at it, but with the camera, but got nothing. So I did have some trouble with the what is it, DJI Osmo Mobile 2, whatever, the one I bought last year from Murph. But otherwise, I'm just going to talk about a few things I have here on the table. Another thing I did not expect to see there was this machine here. I've got a comment. Oh, that's that one over there. Was this, which is a silicone pad. Honestly, I bought it because it was orange and it was $12. Show special. This is from the Wham Bam people. They're promoting this as a resin mat, because if you spill on it, put it out in the sun or put it under a UV light, it'll harden up the resin. You should be able to bend it and pop it off because it won't bond to this chemically. I'm probably going to use it more here as a soldering spot and a hot glue gun for the same kind of reasons, that it shouldn't stick to it. So I'm probably going to use it out here more than in with my resin printers. Wish I would have bought one or two more if I could have used them with the resin printing area, but hindsight. If it works really well, I'll order a couple, or I'm sure they'll have them still by Murph in the early spring. 3D Gloop was there. They were showing off some of their new. Hey there, Travis. How's it going? Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, it seems like a pretty handy thing. They were priced right. Didn't seem like it seemed economical. I think the regular price is $15. I think. I can't remember. I looked it up last night. But hopefully they do well. It gives him a little bit more depth to his offerings other than his flex sheets and stuff as well. So the 3D Gloop people were there. I talked to them at Murph quite a bit one night. I talked to Andrew, one of the Andrews, quite a bit one night, and near the end of one of the days. And so I bought some Gloop there, brought it home with good intentions of using it, put it in that magical place where I'd remember where it was. No, we know how that goes. Wanted to use it leading up to ERRF to put together my Ricky Tanner models. That was my thought plan, was I was going to use it for that for sure. And still couldn't find it. So when I went to ERRF, second day maybe, I don't know, I think it was Sunday, went over, talked to Andrew again, apologized for being in a goof and not even being able to find the stuff I bought from him last time. Bought some more, knowing darn well that I would find it when I got home. Sure enough, day after I got back from ERRF, so it's Tuesday, there it was. It had all my extra stuff from Murph, some of my buttons and stuff that I couldn't hand out at ERRF because I didn't have them, because I couldn't find them, and the package of Gloop from there. So now I have twice as much. So I'm gonna have to start using it a lot. I got their PLA ones and their Pet G as well. I'm gonna try that out. I got a couple of things I want to play with that. The trick now is not to lose it, so I'm going to keep it down in the print room where I'll find it, and a couple of the tubes of the PLA stuff as well. So, and Andrew's showing me giving me some secrets on how to keep this stuff well. I'm going to keep it in the fridge after today, and hopefully it'll all work out. They've got a new bottle design coming with a new cap design that's supposed to help the freshness of it. Minnesota Maker, how are you? Thanks for stopping in. Well, Ron, Canadian Maker Project. A couple of people asked me to bring them stuff that couldn't make it down to the show. Ron asked me to bring him one thing, just one. A sticker. He wants a sticker from 3D Fuel. So I've got one. I'll get it to him. We talked a bit about it last night. I'll drop it in the mail and send it to him. So I did get his sticker. There's one for me in here too. They were there. I don't think they were there Sunday. They were there Saturday for sure. I think they had to leave before Sunday. But they were handing out samples, so I picked up a couple of different ones. They're Pro PLA and they're OBC, olefin block copolymer. And right at this moment, I don't remember what the greatness of this was. But I will look it up before I try it out. But the rep that I talked to there thought it was one of their newest and coolest products. He also had a support material, kind of like a PVA type thing. PVA, yeah. And but I didn't get a sample of that. they weren't like handing out 5 samples to everybody. I got 1, and then I went back after they're gone and picked up the gray Pro PLA because they left those on the table. What else? One of the guys that I saw walking around everywhere at ERRF was John. You do it. John was involved in recording all of the seminars and talks at ERRF. It was kind of rough that because I had a booth that I really wish I would have spent more time in, because every time I was there, people were asking questions. But you have to have some time to get up and go around and do stuff, and talk to people as well. But I couldn't sit in on any of the talks because I just couldn't be away from the booth that long. So John was involved in recording them, and he was also shooting footage all over the floor and talking to everybody as well. I don't think I saw him at his table once either. He was all over the place, but really good guy and doing a good job. And I look forward to seeing some of the talks, especially Adrian Boyer's, because I didn't get to see any of them. That's one I wanted to see. And I was walking by as it was already in progress, full house, and I had to get back. So, yeah, some of the booths left before Sunday, which is, I don't think that's kind of right. If you're there, it's only 2 days you're committing to. You can roll in Saturday morning if you have to, if you're tight on time, and set up quick early Saturday morning before the show starts. So it's, yeah. Yes, that's true, Chris. Yeah, it's tough. And I learned a bit more at this one. Like at Murph, I didn't have a table, and I kind of wished I would, just so I had a place to put things. But I didn't really have a whole lot to show, but I had lots of questions about the stuff that I did show from, the public and stuff when they were walking by, and explaining how things work, explaining how resin printing works. Because surprisingly, there wasn't much resin printing stuff there. We'll get to some of it, but I thought there'd be more, seeing as it's kind of like the cool new thing these days. I thought there'd be more of that. Yeah, he wasn't in there long, was he? But he had his banner up that he had made for Murph or ERRF last year. I can't remember. Maybe it was ERRF last year. I wasn't there when it was new, and he had the people signing it. So he got a few more signatures on it. So that was cool. What else? Done wham bam. 3D Matic Vince was there. He was building a printer that he won, maybe, and talked to him for a little while. Didn't get to talk to him at Murph, so it was good to talk to him here. The White Knight, Carl and the White Knight, and the new Squire. He got it done in time. That stuff's just amazing. He's done so much work on that. I hope that it, comes to a good result for him, and he makes some money on it, or it inspires him to do something else cool. But every time I saw him, he was talking and explaining everything to people and doing a great job. David Shorey. David Shorey just does cool stuff. Mostly fashion related. Really neat stuff. And talked to him for a few minutes. And I think he's one of the first people that I saw within the last year or so that did something totally different that we hadn't seen before, printing on fabric and that. And he's been doing all kinds of things like that. And he was in his booth when he wasn't talking to somebody. He was actually assembling things and working on projects while he was there. He wasn't wasting a minute. So did a great job. It was good to talk to him. Inside the Mind of Matt had his, was showing off some of his stuff he's been doing with casting and that. I'm not brave enough for that yet, but the stuff looks really good and he's doing a good job with it. Check out some of his videos if you get a chance. Fun in the Country Basement guys were there doing the draws. They gave away, what did they give away Saturday? Do you remember, Chris, what they gave away Saturday? Sunday was a pallet. I had a personal invitation from Xander. He came around to my table and asked me if I'd like to enter for it. And then he tried to get me to enter again. already have one, but and they already know who I am. I forget what they gave away Saturday. Might have been a printer, can't remember. But I got one of the limited edition. Probably can't see that at all. You can see it. Chris's basement. Clear ones. And got a few different ones from them. And they were busy all the time. And not always quiet near their booth. Just kidding. They'll be streaming later on today, I imagine. Yeah, a couple hours. I didn't talk to Scott. Marlon was there. Scott had a table, and they were selling shirts for donations. So of course I did that, and you could get stickers as well for donations with your entry fee into the show. So I did that too. Really good to support them. I need to learn more of that. Every time I'm around Scott, I feel like I really don't know anything about 3D printing at all. And so I hope that by the next time I see him, I at least understand more about Marlin. I've used it more and tweaked it more myself. So I kind of can be more involved in the conversation, or at least not feel as lost as I usually do. What else? 3D Fuel, we did them. Wham Bam had their things. This was a simple, neat thing. This is a carabiner clip that was printed on Mitch 3D's backpack printer, and he gave me this as we were getting ready to leave. He took it off the printer as we were leaving. That backpack printer, he did a rebuild on it this year, and the shipping case for it is awesome. And several people were wearing it. You've probably seen video and shots on Twitter and that of different people wearing it. And yeah, it's still a really cool machine. So he said he's probably not going to bring it out again, but I want to see what he does next, because he always does cool stuff. I think this is the macrobot.us. I think that's the guys that had the little tiny robot BattleBot type things. Those things were flying. I was over near either Pooch's booth or Protopasta one time. I heard this bang, and it was one of the robots hitting they had to put plexiglass shields up around it. Basically, it was in a big box. Man, it was almost like gun going off. It was so loud when it hit. So I'm glad they put up the barriers to keep that from hitting people. But it's really cool, and we'll see if we see where that goes next. I had to go to the Snow Labs booth to pick up some stuff for Mad Monkey Jordan. He sent me there to pick up some stuff for him. So I bought some filament. I'll get to it. It's in the bottom over there. James Print and Play was there with his Ready Printer 1. He had the big cabinet there again. People were playing that. And then he had the smaller version. He used one as a giveaway for his Fresh Prints of Bel Air competition that he held there. And then gave away the Ready Printer 1, the small and the blue one, to the guy that won. And there was some beautiful prints on that table by the time they did the draw for that, and he did the choosing of the winner. It was there was some nice work there. And I hope that at some point somebody posts who won some of the things, like who won that, and like a kind of like a little summary video or a few pictures or something. Same for the Derby. I feel bad because I couldn't go up and watch the races when it happened, but I did mine, and my Flintstones car. I knew it wasn't going to win. I just wanted to enter something in the race, And but it's again, it was upstairs, not right down in the middle of the floor, so it was kind of hard to be in two places at once. And I hope that they posted who won the 3 winning, the modified class, the stock class, and something else. But it was all people in the same family, so I'm not sure. But anyways, I hope that they post, which cars did well and which ones didn't. I'd like to know if my car even made it down the track because I wasn't there to watch it. And by the time I got around to it, the people that ran it had left. So, what else? I'm gonna forget something. Talked to LDO Motors for a few minutes. Got the T-shirt. They make some really neat stuff, and I understand that they might be trying to work to help FDL, the foam dart launcher people that have had some issues getting some of their parts. That's caused them to have a lot of stress lately. And I hope that they can bounce back and that maybe Jason will work with them and get them up to speed. I did ask him about Canadian distributors for their products, and he gave me makerparts.ca, wrote it down on the card for me. So I'm going to talk to them in the next week or so and see if I can get an Orange Bear kit. Go figure. Talked to Shay for a few minutes and had a good chat with him on Saturday night, maybe Friday night, Saturday night, I don't know, one of those nights at the Turtle Bar place. Picked up Garrett and Chelsea's cards from the F3D PCH table where they were involved. They donated a prize for the Benchy contest. Benchy contest, I'd like to see more info on who won that and things like that too. It's almost like you need a reporter team to go cover the events at these things. Hey, Carl, how's it going? I already kind of gushed about your White Knight and the Squire a little bit, and we'll get to your filament in a couple of minutes. It's in the pile over there. We'll get there. DSK001, his table is across from mine. He's got some cool models. He's got the controversial model, the mashup between the Millennium Falcon and Star Trek Enterprise. It's cool. And he had that there printed out in the nice shiny filament. Viking, man, you should still be sleeping, sir. Thanks for stopping in. Oh, thank you, sir. Good job. I'm glad you got to wear it. Where else was I going? See, I got sidetracked. Dr. Graybeard for a few minutes. He was working on the rail core on the table next to me. I sat beside Mitch on one side and Colin and John Mack on the other side. So that when I did walk away from my table, I knew that, at least somebody nearby would be kind of keep an eye on things. I didn't have anybody walk off with anything. So that was good. They didn't break any of the models I had showing. So that was good. It was really good that way. It's a pretty good crowd. You get like 4 hours. Found that one on the floor. So, Martin, 3DP Iceland. Martin was there again with more of his landscapes, like the one I got at Murph. I think he had about 10 more that he gave to people, and he had his list all made up, and then gave them out right at the end. And always good to talk to Martin. Good to see him there. I'm glad he made it. Seems like he was having a great time. Had a couple things I wanted to talk to him about. I'll have to talk to him online about it. I wanted to ask him how he's got the Osmo Mobile 3 that he bought for this show. I kind of wanted to compare notes between the two and three. I looked at it there for a couple of minutes at his booth one day and then wanted to loop back when he'd used it a bit by the end of the show and check with him, and I didn't get a chance yet, so I'll catch up. 3D Medic Vince. Where did you get that the printer that you were, did you win that? The printer that you were building at ERRF, and did you finish it, and did it work well when you were done? I know that's a lot of questions since you just walked in, but sorry. We went past your coin earlier, which I have 2 of. So I found one on a table as I was leaving. Filament One was there. Always have to thank Filament One because they sponsored 3D Maker Noob coming to ERRF, and very thankful that they do that. It's good to have him there. He's fun. He's good to talk to. He did some cool interviews this year, and so it was good to see him. And he was, again, bouncing all over the place. Kept seeing him everywhere. And so I got some more of his stickers, some of theirs. Stroop Waffle, because they had those as well. So if anybody got hungry, they could stop there. I don't know if that's allowed there, but oh well. The chocolate stuff. There was a guy there with a chocolate printer. Basically, it looks like, oh, there we go. You want it from the Fun King anniversary stream. That's right. Oh, you're doing good putting it together, though. How many times did you cut yourself on the sharp edges? That's the question, Vince. Chocolate printer guy. It's a neat machine. He was talking with I heard him explaining it to somebody and talking about his goals for it. I hope he does really well with it. It's getting there. How's that? But I hope that his enthusiasm carries it to be a real product and he makes tons of money. Rep cord's here too. Holy cow. We haven't got to your pile yet. It's over here. Let's talk a bit about Protopasta. Protopasta had their line there. And I guess, was this the first time they had that out? Or the second time they had it anywhere? Anyways, it was running fine. They were making filament. I bought some of each color that they were making that weekend on it. So this was all made there. I'm going to try it out. I mean, they're pretty healthy sample sizes too. So, but I didn't, Pooch might know more because he was right beside them. But yeah, I did some serious shopping. It's cheaper to drive the stuff across the border into Canada in the back of my car, declared, more or less. So I spent about $600. I don't know. And there you go. But it was a lot easier to bring stuff back and helped you not ship stuff back. So it worked out. But yeah, this stuff, it's going to be interesting to see. Like, they were tracking it and watching it. I don't know how many times did they have to stop it and scrap stuff. Pooch, you might know, you were beside them. But I mean, it was cool. And I'm kind of afraid that some people might have walked by and not even known, if they were casual visitors, if you will, not have stopped. But I shot some video of it and stood there a couple of times as I walked by just to watch it work. Because it's pretty cool to see that they were, brought that thing in on pallets, set it up, and it was making dimensionally accurate and potentially usable. I hope it's usable filament. I don't know if anybody used it while they were there. I didn't have a machine there to try it, but of course, they had orange, so I had to get that. And then give me one of each kind of thing. Also, Tinkers had his a separate booth to them, just a little bit of ways, and he was showing what you can do with some of their filaments, and weathering and rusting and copper and everything. And so of course, after talking to him, I had to pick up some of their iron PLA, and I'm gonna try doing some things with that. I want to do some little statues and weather them up and see how they turn out. That's perfect, Pooch. Just wanted pizza flavor filament. What What else did I get? I don't even know. Said Alex, just give me something else that I got to buy. Oh, the composite copper and composite steel as well, PLA, or HDPLA and PLA. So I'm going to give those a shot as well and do a little bit of, that's a winter project for me. These guys actually were sitting right behind me. Z-Catch. They make this little gadget. Pizza Mint. See, there you go. Bet you could sell that. Pizza Mint for late night print jobs. Just take a bite, print failure, eat the evidence. It's PLA. It's kind of edible, right? These guys make this. Seems very engineered. I just wanted to try one when I saw it. Saw a video clip of it one day. And then when I saw they were going to be there, I thought, well, I got to go get one and try it anyways. And it's for doing your hot end. You pick the socket that fits your whatever hot end you have. You put it in here. And let's do the side cam close up. It's got a, there we go. It's got that pin in the middle that you can actually use to eject the hot end out of the socket even when you're done. I've only changed hot ends half a dozen times so far in years of doing this, but I've got to do a few now, and I want to start experimenting with different nozzles, especially smaller ones for some finer work. And I have to change the one on the D6. It's still sitting on the floor where I put it when I was mad at it. And it's in a timeout corner. And so I'm going to try it out. I can't remember how much it was. It seemed a little bit pricey, but if I don't burn fingers and if it actually kind of works, I'm okay with it. We'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic at this point. Now, will I be able to keep all those sockets together all in the same place? That'll be the biggest question. I got the hat and the mug. I bought those from ERRF as well. Hat will probably become part of the background soon. And the mug, I was quite happy. Being that I'm left-handed, the picture, the logo is on both sides, so they don't discriminate. Usually you get a mug from an event, and it's for right-handed people only, so I just look at the blank back of a mug. I don't drink a lot of hot drinks anyways, but I might actually use this one more because it is for lefties too. Okay, did theirs. We cannot get Prusament in Canada. Short answer. Wish I could. Want to try it. When I bought my Prusas, it was before Prusament. It was still the other guy's stuff. Those guys. So they were handing out samples, so I picked up Prusa Orange, of course, and Pet G, and I'm hoping that at some point in the next year they actually somebody starts selling it here, because you just can't. And ordering it from Prusa is, DHL, and DHL is anti-Canada. How's that? Everything I order that comes DHL pretty much comes with an extra fee. They stop by randomly because I don't know when stuff's coming. They leave the tag to say they missed me, gives me a code. I go on their website. I fill out the form to have them leave it the next day with my signature, with me not being here. And then they come the next day and they put another tag in the door that says, oh, there's import fees or duty or some fee that they imaginarily make up. And so then I have to go back on their website, pay them through PayPal, and then wait another day. They can't just get their shit together and put the two things on there at the same time. Like when you already got me there to fill out the, drop it off, here's my signature. Can't you just take my money too? But yeah, I'm not a fan of them. So I know whenever I get something, especially from Prusa, it's going to take like 3 or 4 days to get it once it gets to my neighborhood. Going into the filament zone. Filament PM had a booth there. They were handing out, I don't know, this was Sunday near the end. So I don't know if everybody's bag got all these samples, but there's a ton of samples in here. I've seen their stuff locally. I don't know who sells it. One of the online retailers in Canada must sell it because I've got a couple samples of it before, and I don't remember where I got it from. ASA, rubber jet, TPU type stuff. PA jet. I'm gonna have to look up what some of this is. Luckily, they have QR codes on them, so I can look them all up. Pet G metal look and Pet G metal look froggy gold, so it's kind of greeny gold. Pet G dark purple. Marble jet. Imagine that's PLA. And then just plain PLA metallic green. Pet G with carbon fiber. And another Pet G with carbon fiber. So they handed me a whole bunch of stuff, so I'll give them a shot. I've used I've got a green, like a pearly green, silky kind of pearly green sample of theirs, and it printed really nice, printed a little frog in it, and it seemed okay, so hopefully that's good. I don't know who that is. Where are we at? Let's go on to these guys. These are somebody I hadn't seen before. Green Gate 3D. Recycling the world's plastics one filament at a time. 100% made in the USA from 100% scrap plastics. They had it was like, I don't know what they were charging, $25 a kilogram, I think. And then they had you could get purple and clear for $45. So of course I went for it. So be interesting to see how that stuff works. I mean, as long as it's dimensionally accurate, it should be okay. That was interesting. I don't know. Wasn't smart enough, alert enough to ask them why purple, seeing as their logo is green. So I don't know why they'd go to purple. There's Martin. Hey, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Talked about your stuff earlier too. I do have to catch up with you at some point later on one night or something about your adventures with your Osmo, your new one. I want to know how it worked out. I never got to ask you on Sunday. Okay, then comes, printed solid. I was hoping that, because Printed Solid did an event Saturday night that was started like after the in-house meet and greet thing Saturday night, I guess. And it was Saturday night, right? So I had a short list of a few things I wanted to pick up. This is one of them. This is those little hot end things that most recently 3D Maker Noob Joe did a little video about it. I wanted to pick up those, so I got a couple sets of those. I'll print up the handle. I think it's Pet G, so I'll use some of this stuff for that probably to try it out. Until I've been thinking about changing nozzles a lot, because I got 2 different ways to change them now, 2 different little gimmicky things for it. And then I picked up spare fans for my Prusas while I was there, because they carry Prusa parts and nobody in my neighborhood does. So while I was there, I thought that was kind of like, an omen. Buy them now and not need them for a while. Will I be able to find them later? Yeah, we'll see. No, I don't have to buy more. I also picked up the acrylic panels for a lac table enclosure for one of my Prusas from Dave's gang at Printed Solid while I was there. And a roll of their Jesse PLA. I think this is, mystery orange. Yeah, man, just make your shit orange. I'm going to buy it. So it's really close to somebody else's orange. When you put them side by side, they're really close. And I used some of this on the rep chopper and liked it. It printed well. So I thought while I was there, again, shipping a kilogram costs more than driving it across in my car, which costs gas. Then the door prizes, I didn't even really connect that they were doing door prizes based on your number on your badge. And I happened to be upstairs one time and talked to Vicky for a minute, and somebody came up and asked her where the list was for the door prizes. And I'm like, door prizes? Is that, am I eligible? Like I'm an exhibitor? She goes, oh yeah, anybody's got a number on their thing is eligible. So she goes, exhibitors are eligible. I'm like, all right. I go over, I check the list, and sure enough, my number's there. And Chris, East Coast Chris, one of the organizers of ERRF, was kind of panicky, not panicky, but agitated. And he was on the phone, on a walkie-talkie, trying to clear up something with somebody. And I was talking to the guy beside me that was waiting because his number was on the sheet there as well, right beside mine. And there was a big box sitting right there. And the guy's like, man, I'd really like to win. It was a printer. I can't remember what brand it was. But he was really excited. He thought it was great. And I said, honestly, I don't have a way to get it home because it would have filled up half the cart. It was a big box. And I really don't need more printers. We won't talk about the one that I ordered on Tuesday. But they, so he was really excited. He thought that was really cool. And he's like, you know, I never win anything cool, you know, blah, blah, blah. Sure enough, Chris comes back all excited and hands the guy the printer. And the guy's like, what? He goes, yeah, you won. So that was really cool. I just happened to be standing there for it. So when you see the picture of the guy all excited getting the printer, I was just off to the screen right. But I won some craft filament. It's copper. It was donated by Profound 3D. And I have to thank them. And it's a copper filled filament from what I've done some quick research on. So it's 0.5 kilogram. And it's kind of a nice dark copper color. So I'm going to have some fun with that as well. Test it out and post about it to thank them for that, for donating that. Okay, quick border story. Heading down across the border between Canada and the States at Buffalo, the Peace Bridge. The guy that checked me through going down asked me where I was going, told him where I was going, told him I was going there for a 3D printing festival. Festival's a cool word to use. Sounds more fun and less business-like. And he was more interested in talking to the guy in the guard type guy in the next booth. And he was, they were talking about whatever some woman had said that had been there just before in the other guy's lane, I think. And so he was socializing. And so he basically just waved me through on the way down. Coming back, I got the guy that must have just taken a course on 3D printing guns. So I told him I was down at a festival, and well, what'd you do down there? I'm like, looked at stuff, talked to people. What'd you talk about? Well, 3D printing stuff. You know, like, what you doing? Any special? I got to watch my smart ass mouth when I'm at the border, because I could end up in trouble. They don't have any real rules as far as I know. They just do whatever they want. So he's like, well, did you talk about making guns? I'm like, oh, here we go. And so I'm like, well, no. And then he goes, well, why not? It's a thing, you know. I'm like, am I being pranked here? Like, come on, here we go again. So he goes, he's like, well, you know, it's a pretty serious thing. I'm like, not to me, it's not. I said, you want my honest opinion? My opinion. And he's like, yeah. I go, I think you have to be braver than you are smart to fire one. I said, anybody can print it. It's no different than printing a Pikachu. All you do is push the button and it spits it out. But you got to be brave enough to use it. And I kind of like having all my fingers. And I said, it's not my thing. So I'm not a gun guy, but I'm okay with that. But I don't think it's, in my brain, I didn't say it, but I don't think it's as big a deal as he said it is. Like, you know, I could have had anything in the back of my car. They didn't check my car, asked me how much stuff I was bringing back. You're allowed $800 Canadian bringing it back. So I said that I spent about $6. I don't know how much I spent. And he just basically, after he got his little gun story out of the way, he just waved me through. So that's why I bring stuff back in my car when I go away for 72 hours. I think after 72 hours, we can bring back $800 worth of stuff. So it worked out well. So yeah, they didn't go and check any of your stuff, Pooch. Sorry. I didn't get to do a commercial for you while I was there. I'll do that now. One of the things I wanted to buy when I went to the show this year was another box of, I need a bigger table. What I wanted to buy was another box of this, the Battle Pack from Ripcord. I used some doing the Ricky Tanner models that I showed at the show, the Rep Choppa, but I need to get some more. So that was one of my things on my list of things to buy for sure. So I did. So I bought a box. I have a sealed box here that I bought on Saturday, maybe. I don't know. Saturday, I think. First time I bought stuff from Pooch. Then I also picked up another cleaning kit because Vanna White mode. These really do work well. No, I really do like them. They're good. And they're handy. When you need them, you have to have them. So I picked up another one while I was there. And then, hey, there's Sean Butler. How are you doing, sir? So then at the end of the show, I went and talked to Pooch for a few minutes, and instead of him having to carry all this stuff back, I put some in my car and brought it to my house instead, and money changed hands. So I picked up another rep box because I'm going to need a third one soon. So I haven't even built the second one yet, but it's coming up soon. I got to print some parts. And so then I picked up another battle pack, the one that was open, because it's fine with me. I don't have a big humidity problem here usually. And then I picked up the rainbow pack, which is all still sealed up. I have a question though, sir. It says 6-pack. I don't know if you guys can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Thought that was funny. This is I forget. What do you call this one? Got a cool term for it. So anyways, that's those. I also won a roll of Ooze PLA as well. Josh was on the go all the time, wearing his big alien suit. I'm sure you all saw him on video and pictures. He was going all the time. At one night, I can't remember which one it was, he said he was going to take off the suit, and I was afraid that he wasn't wearing anything underneath, knowing him, but apparently he was, so that was good. But it must have been, I should do that. I would have lost like 20 or 30 pounds just in sweat over the weekend in that thing, because it had to be warm in there. Okay. And then, but before then, I'd also bought one of his Ooze PLAs and his Pet Gs. Rumor is he's not going to carry those all the time. They're going to be like a special-ish thing. So, of course, I picked them up there. Yeah, is that what it is? 7 spools for 6? I was glad when I got home. I looked, I went, it says 6 on the box. I was like, math is hard, man. But anyways, I was thankful, and I'll put it to good use. And I'll print something pink so Heather will say it's okay. This is apparently one of the more popular colors recently. Is Carl still here? I really have to work on left, right, up, and down at this. Knights War Red. So quite popular in the Hoosier stream last night. And you can't see it on camera. We tried it last night, but it's a red with a black glitter in it. It's a dark, deep blood red. So yeah, I got to find something to do that. I think unicorns will look fine in this color. Also might be handy with the palette to add some blood touch-ups on weaponry and things like that. So I'm looking forward to playing with that as well. And that's part of my story with Jordan Mad Monkey. He asked me to pick up some stuff for him when I was down there because he couldn't go. And so he had me going to different booths and picking up stuff for him from people and things. And one of them was Josh. So every booth I went to that I got stuff for Jordan, I ended up buying basically the same thing. So picking up stuff for Jordan got expensive after a while. Snow Labs, another example of that. Their PC Plus Black Amethyst. It looks really cool, the sample prints they had there. So yeah, sucked in again. And I saw them, Noman, the guy that kind of runs it, he was on one of Tom Lama's streams one night and got kind of interested in their products. So I was going to get some anyways. So I said, what other colors have you got that you're going to sell me? And he goes, we've got a glow-in-the-dark orange. Done. So I got that to play with as well. That's a PLA, glow-in-the-dark orange. And yes, I have a hard nozzle for it that I bought at Murph that I haven't done anything with yet. And it's this one. See, I don't even remember. Transparent atrovirins. As I recall, it's like a translucent teal blue color. Looked like water. It was pretty neat. And again, they had cool prints, so I had to buy some. And it's a Pet G, so I want to be doing some more Pet G over the next little while. I think that's it. I think that's everything. Does anybody have any questions or anything? Or anything I missed I forgot to talk about? I totally missed the announcement of the Prusa Mini when they made the announcement on Saturday morning, I guess. They did it. Knew something was coming up at a time, didn't really know what, but saw the box like everybody did. Didn't put much thought into it, honestly. And then when they announced it, my first thought was it's smaller. And then over the weekend, I thought more about it and have now put together and on the way back, 8 hours driving, had more time to think about it and listen to NASCAR. Nice enough to rain out the race on Sunday, so they raced on Monday. So I listened to that on the way home. Helped keep me awake, sort of. But the Prusa Mini was a so I'm gonna switch back. The Prusa Mini, I'm gonna be interested. I ordered mine Tuesday morning, I think, after I was back. So I'm probably not going to get mine. If they start shipping in November, like he said, I probably will be lucky if I get mine, in the new year sometime, because I'm way down the list by now. Interesting product. Didn't think it had a heated bed at first for some reason. Why is that true? But I really didn't go over and spend much time in there because I pretty much bought everything they've got. And it was at first, like if somebody would ask me like that, yeah, because you print bigger stuff, Carl. I started thinking about some things I do, and like I said, I want to do some stuff with smaller nozzles, and I think that'll be a good one for that. Because when you print smaller nozzles, you generally have to print slower, and I think it'll be good for that. I'm a big fan of their flex sheets. They just work. So the fact that it had and at 180 by like by 180. It's not that much smaller than your normal i3 design printers, the 200 by 200 range beds. It's not that much smaller. So, and I'm not quite sure why they went a little bit smaller. There must be an engineering reason for making it a little bit smaller. But yes, the XL will be good for your landscapes, seeing as you don't have a CR10 anymore. Yeah, I just don't. So I thought, what the heck, I'll order one and we'll see what happens. We'll play with it. I like that it's kind of their gateway into the 32-bit world. I think that'll be a good thing going forward. Another step in the progression of this stuff. If they open that up and work their magic on the Marlin code to step the 32-bit stuff along, I think that'll be great. And so then it's not that much money. I'll get to deal with the AHL again, so I get to look forward to that. But yeah, we'll see. Don't think there's anything else. I think that's pretty much all of it. I'm just going to run around the room in my head and see who did I miss around the outside of the room. I enjoyed, first of all, the event was very well organized. Congratulations and thanks to the team that put it together, not just because I know them, but because they did a really good job. The only issues that I kind of heard were more little things to do with the people that run the building, things there. It wasn't anything about the event itself or had anything to do with 3D printing or, the ERRF team. It was like I didn't witness some of the things like the moving in and out. I saw the results of it at MRF, the lack of organization and being steadfast in the rules that they didn't do very well, in my opinion, at MRF. This event, I got there, I arrived just before 4:00 because that's what time I got into the neighborhood. And instead of going to the hotel, I just went right to the venue and, was one of the first 10 vehicles, I guess, maybe, or 20 vehicles to back up and take my spot, unload my stuff to the curb, went and parked my car in the parking lot, went back, wheeled my stuff in about 4 trips. Had my pick of basically anything. I said somebody was like walking into a new housing development and picking out your new house when you don't know who your neighbors are. And so I picked a spot beside Colin, and John Mack was hanging out in his booth as well. And then Mitch came and parked beside me, and it was kind of cool that we were, I knew all the people right beside me, and it was kind of neat. Like, I didn't get to talk to as many people around walking the floor as I wanted to. I felt guilty every time I was not in the booth. I'm sure I didn't spend a third of the time total all weekend in my booth, but I felt guilty every time I wasn't there, because every time I was there and I sat down, hey there, Mr. Buttram, how are you today? Just waking up too? Even Tom beat you. They, yeah, that's it, Carl. Like, it was like smooth. Like, they had to make a couple of announcements for people to move their vehicles after they'd unloaded them and left them there. I was very conscious of that. I didn't want to get yelled at. So I just dumped off my stuff. I had a little hand cart that I brought, a cheap one, made a few trips, and it was great. Every time I walked by, I got to say hi to people as I was walking in and out. So it was cool. And no, it was really good. And going out, same thing. I parked on the side up the hill a little bit because I didn't have as big of stuff to do. And Colin helped me wheel some of my stuff from my pile outside over to the car and carry it over. And it was great. Like, I was out of there really quick as well. So no, like, organizationally, I didn't see anything bad. Like, I didn't hear anybody complaining about, anything coming in or anything. Like, it seemed like there was always, every time I walked upstairs to go to the pit stop or to go to grab, some food or whatever at the concession stand there was always a couple of people sitting at the registration table, Even if there was nobody coming in at that minute, they were still there. They didn't, go away or anything. There was always volunteers there. The volunteers were great. Can't say thanks to all these people enough. They did a really good job. There was always a security guard sitting at the door. He was bouncing a tennis ball a lot because he was bored, but he was always there. I really haven't heard anything bad, but I'm sure there's things they'll tweak for next time, but I think they have a pretty good formula there and it's working. Some people were a little bit bothered by the space behind their tables. I did step over a lot of power cords, and there was a school or robotics club or something that were just behind me and to my left rear on the way out. I was near the end. I was only like the third table in, so it wasn't long, but that's where all the big power cords came out of the box. So I had to step over those, but I was careful. I tried not to step on them because it's not a good thing. And I had to dodge a couple little kids a couple of times, but it was fine. Like, I purposely didn't pick a spot in the middle of the aisle because I knew it would be a long walk, stepping over stuff and, around people's chairs and that. But like, it was comfortable still to have a chair on tables on both sides and still had a couple of feet to walk down the middle. So my fat ass fit through it fine. So it worked out. Yeah, that's right, Carl. No, it was, yeah, I heard that the Murph guys were supposed to be trying to come down to ERRF, but apparently they couldn't make it. Plans changed in the last few days, I guess, beforehand, so they couldn't make it. That's what I heard anyways. So that's too bad because I hope that they, chat a bit between the two groups and, learn from each other. I appreciate and I understand the grassroots, a couple of guys in a garage having a couple of beers talking about their printers, beginnings of Murph. But I think that they've also got to step it up a little bit to run the show a little bit more business-like, just from an organizational point of view. Money-wise, that's their department. But I hope that they can help out the vendors a bit. I mean, I didn't hear anybody complaining about their space at ERRF. They assigned the booths to or however it worked out, the vendors, the sponsors that had the ones around the outside. They knew where their booths were going to be before they got there. I don't know if they got to choose at all. I don't know how that worked, but anyways, they were all like pre-assigned. Like, we had the floor plans weeks in advance of where where the Pruses and everybody were going to be. Yeah. Well, yeah, a lot of people paid for, and I don't know, I can't remember what the fees were for a vendor booth table at Murph, but if I paid, I don't know, I don't remember what it was. Carl, you might know what the range was on those, but if I paid for a certain amount of space, like one particular prominent group in our community did, and then I got there and I didn't have that much space that I'd paid for and planned my setup, my booth and everything according to that contract that they had with the people at Murph. Yeah, I would have been pissed off too. But I didn't hear anybody complaining at ERRF. They had it all laid out, and everybody seemed to have the space they were supposed to have. I understand the disappointment and frustration with people that shut down their booth and weren't there Sunday or left early on Sunday. I understand that because they do charge admission for the public to get in to see this show to cover the cost of the building and that. And hey, Ricky Tanner, how are you? Good to see you. So I understand that, like, from the ERRF people planning side, that they want vendors and exhibitors to stay there on Sunday until 4:00. Like, 4:00 isn't bad. If you're driving home, whether you leave at 4:00 or 2:00 or noon isn't going to make a huge difference in your arrival home time. You knew ahead of time. It's not like they changed it. It was well laid out ahead of time. We all knew, they expected you to be there until 4 p.m. on Sunday and then rip your stuff down. And like, I had people walking by and asking me questions at 3:30 And up until just right at 4 o'clock, I was talking to one couple there for a while, and they were asking me questions about things, and they seemed like they were relatively new to this whole game. And I was happy to answer their questions. I wasn't in a hurry. I was staying over till Monday anyways. I drove home Monday, but it was, I think everything went smooth. I don't know. I think that it's a lot to ask vendors and people to go and set up for a 1-day show. Like Saturday was a long day because it didn't close until I think 7 o'clock, right, guys? Saturday night it was 7. But they yeah, that's why I stayed over till Monday. Plus, it was a holiday for us up here. It was our Canadian Thanksgiving, so it was a day off anyway. So it worked out well. I still would have taken an extra day to come back, though. Yeah, that's serious cash, Pooch, for somebody to have a big space. So all the vendors signed a legal contract that said that they would be there until 4 on Sunday. It's a legal document. They knew it. It's not like they sprung it on them and changed the times, or it wasn't like random or anything. They knew that's what they were signing up for. And the fact that they bailed, like if I was, somebody who had to work Saturday and could only go to the show on Sunday as an attendee, and I wanted to see whoever, I can pick one that definitely bailed. But, if I got there, paid my money to get in, walk down on the floor and go, well, where the hell are they? They're not, the floor plan shows this is their booth and their stuff's gone. It doesn't look good on the event. It doesn't look good on the community. And it certainly doesn't look good on the person that they were going there to see. So, and I heard that it happened a couple of times like that, and probably more that we didn't hear of, but I mean, it's only a 2-day show. It's not like it's a week. And there was still people walking around because they stopped and talked to me at like 3:30, 4 o'clock on Friday. I took a picture of my booth at 4:05, sent it to Lauren. But yeah, it's, I didn't think it was that bad. So 10 by 10 booths on the outskirts, like where you were $500, Pooch. I think that's fair. Yes, you stayed long enough, that's for sure, because you were still selling stuff as I was taking stuff out to my car to other people and me. But yeah, but the show was ERRF open on Friday? Or it was just setup time, right? I don't remember now. I'd have to go get my papers and check. You want me to show the orange one? It's still packed in a tote outside, but in the trailer. But no, I'm not taking my trailer to any event next year. I'm not buying that much stuff. But yes, I will. If I forget the next couple of days, please remind me. I want to make a stand for it too. One of the things I make is display stands for die-cast cars. Being a NASCAR guy, I got a lot of these too. And when you put them all on a table, one behind the other, you can't see them. So I started making these up, and they go up in 3-lane wide racing. And I want to make one for the VSV for Ricky Tanner's Jeep model that I did, so I can put it on display here. So yeah, I thought Friday was just set up, so it wasn't even open to the public. Okay, I was right. I thought so. You know, the one thing I got asked a lot though, Ricky, and I felt really bad, and I told everybody, like, made sure I told them for sure it wasn't your fault at all, is that I broke all the axles putting the wheels on it. Yeah, I was in a hurry. It was the last minute. That's me. But so I hot glued them all in. They were all glued. So I don't know how many, there must have been, not lots, maybe half a dozen kids that came up and started trying to roll it. And it was doing a great skid job because the wheels were all glued on. So hopefully I want to do another one now that I've got, I don't know if you were here for my Repcord Vanna White infomercial part. I've got 2 sets of battle packs to do some more of your models. I want to work through them all. They're on the list of things I have to print. I think my next serious project, well, the next thing I have to do is a scanner that I found randomly. I've been trying to find a decent scanner that will scan small objects like chess pieces. I've got a chess piece for a good friend who's I need to get it done. And I bought the occipital scanner. Not a fan of those people right now. They don't like to answer questions that make their product not look good. I would bet money that when they advertised that product, I can't remember if it was a Kickstarter or not, but when they advertised it, they showed it doing small things. But apparently it's basically basketball size and up that it'll do. And it does rooms. They've evolved into doing room measurements and crap that I don't care about for VR stuff. I don't care right now. But yeah, it was an expensive scanner that doesn't do anything I need it to right now. And I bought the little cheap, who's the cow one, the red one with the spinning checkerboard thing. And the software for that was terrible. Oh, sorry, Ricky. Okay. Take it easy, sir. Okay. I'll try to entertain you. Funny, when I get in my car some days, your music comes up on mine when my phone's plugged in. It's either that or my kids' death metal stuff. So, you know. Thanks for stopping in. Good luck tonight. Yes, the axles are, I made them in some, I call it the Tang PLA. It reminds me of watered down Tang from when I was a kid, orange Tang. So it's brittle on a good day. Anybody else have any questions about ERRF or anything like that? Oh, I was doing the scanner thing. That was it. The scanner kit I bought, it's sketchy as hell. They're a couple of weeks late shipping it. It actually arrived. Against my DHL story, it arrived and I didn't have to pay an extra fee, but it was a little tiny box that came in. It's all acrylic parts and things and no instructions, no software. So I emailed them. They're in China somewhere. There's a language barrier, but they're pretty good. Like, it takes them a day or so to get back to me. And so now they've sent me the software last night, I think. And they're also sending me the newer version of it, already pre-assembled. And it's supposed to ship out in the next couple of days, I think. Like, I should get it probably end of this week or next week. So we'll see. Their software is not quite ready yet. I should have researched a bit more before I pushed the buy button, but I really need to get this project done. And so I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens. And I hope I can get a scan that's close enough and I can clean it up in ZBrush and get a good print for a friend who's missing a chess piece for a chess set that he has. And gee, my favorite printer at the show. Gee, I wonder. No, it really wasn't. Yeah, Ryan, you weren't here for the Prusa Mini chat. I didn't think it was a real cool product when I first heard what it was. I forget who I asked, and they kind of gave me the highlights of what was announced, and I was like, all right. At that time, I did not think it had a heated bed. I thought he made the bed small, and I'm generally not a fan of cantilever designs, but it's so small that it can't deflect much. It's going to need some regular maintenance, I think, to keep that solid, but everything does. I ordered mine on Tuesday. Didn't order it at the show, so I'll get mine at the end of the thing, and hopefully by then everybody will have found some problems and got them fixed by the time I even get mine. Kind of like my MMU1 that's still in the box, except for the parts I scavenged out of it for other projects. My favorite printer at the show, my favorite FDM printer would probably be the Squire, because that's a more realistic size for me. I don't have a business model use for it yet. I kind of do that in my head, whether I do it or not. Kind of have to justify things in my head sometimes, but it's really cool. But my favorite was the PO Poly Phenom. Man. And I was very happy for Josh for winning that one. But, and I wanted to win it. Again, don't know how I would have got it home. Well, they didn't use that one anyways, because that one got dinged up in shipping. I think it sounds like they might have to work on their packaging a bit for shipping. They should take a lesson from Mosaic, who has Apple-like packaging systems, in my opinion. That stuff is packed in foam like very, very well, probably over designed. I used to do packaging testing, so I think it's over designed, but it is really nice. Yes, I got scanned upstairs Saturday morning. I went and dropped off my car at the rally table, and then there was only 1 or 2 people waiting in line to get 3D scanned, and I did that. Did you get a chance to get up there and do that, Pooch? Yeah, I don't mind paying the Prusa upgrade price on things, because I value what they give back to the community and what they've done that's brought everybody else along. One thing that's disappointed me in the last couple of days was I was at a Canadian 3D printing store, and they are stocking Prusa clones. And if you walk by it, it's a Prusa. It says so right on it. It's like carved into the frame, just like my Mark III. It's a Mark III. And I understand that, Prusa releases all of his stuff as open source, and I get that. And I think that's great. And I think that's great when the intent of releasing stuff open source is to let others take it, build on it, fork it, and make better products and grow the industry and grow the community. I think that's great. When somebody just takes it and just literally copies it and sells it at a lower price without support, which is an important factor, even though Prusa lost their best support guy. But yeah, I am not a fan of and it's, as an Apple guy, it's kind of like an Android phone is generally viewed as a cheaper alternative to Apple stuff. But the prices aren't really that far off most of the time now. They're getting closer. And I think this is the same kind of situation. Like, I forget what the price was on that clone. I think it was $700 Canadian. Well, I can buy a Mark III kit, because that's a kit as well. I can buy a Mark III kit for whatever the 7, whatever they are right now, times 1.35. And that's what I'm going to pay for it, plus $50 shipping maybe, and DHL bastards. But, for under $1,000, I can get a real one with support and still be giving something into the community to help him grow. I know they're already big, but, got to give them something once in a while. So I think that's what bothers me the most, is that that it's got the Prusa name written on the frame, the exact same, the rounded, milled out look to it. It's exactly the same. And if you walk by and just glance at it, and it's orange, so it catches my eye as I walk by, but I don't know. I think that's my concern with that stuff is, and like my third printer was a Sunhoki Prusa i3 Chinese kit from AliExpress, I think, that I bought, the acrylic frame ones, and it's got Prusa written in it too, but it doesn't look like it. And at the time, I didn't know any different, and I was still learning a lot. I had a couple of experiences with other machines, and it looked like a good alternative, and it was. It was a good machine. It was my workhorse for a long time until I got the real one. But yeah, I that's one thing I didn't talk about yet. Good thing you said that there, Pooch. Where'd it go? Make sure I don't knock over a pile of filament here. Here, there. Yeah, I mean, you're in the same spot, Pooch. Like, if somebody starts making clones of the rep box, what are you going to do? I mean, when you get right down to it, most of the i3 design printers are all based off of the earlier Prusa designs as well. But, when you jump to a CR10, it's still the same basic mechanics of how things work. They've made some changes, and then everybody cloned those even. So, but that's different. It doesn't look the same. This thing is like, it's like a kit car. Like if you buy an old Shelby and you put it beside one of the kit versions, they're pretty close to the same. Generally, if you just walk by at a car show, you might not notice the difference unless you were in that circle. And that stuff kind of bugs me a bit, that it's exactly a copy of it. Apparently with this clone Prusa machine, it's right down to, they use his code and you print his parts from his website to make the thing and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you got to print all your own parts too. And it's not enough of a difference to me to make it worth the risk. I don't plan on doing theirs, but I better catch up on chat here. Oh yeah, that'd be cool with her in her pirate cosplay outfit. Yeah. I really hope that his 3D scanning stuff works and that it works out. I've been to another event. Actually, the day I bought my first printer at a local Comic-Con, I knew the people that were selling them, and I bought one there. And they had their goal there was to 3D scan people in their cosplay outfits, and then sell them the models or print them for them or whatever afterwards. And they were taking money up front, and they had a turntable that you had to stand on. And they had one rig, they had two rigs. They had one that was, I think, 3 connects at that time, and trying that. And it didn't really work that well because people couldn't stand on the moving turntable. We aren't built like that. And especially if they had gear on and stuff, it didn't work that well. So they'd rented one of the handheld, like an Einscan type. I forget which brand it was at the time, but they only rented it for like the weekend of the show. So they picked it up like Friday night from where they rented it in Toronto and had to have it back on Monday. So they had no practice with it. They'd never used it. And it's not a point and click thing. You don't just take it out and turn it on and it works. It's not a microwave. And it didn't work out well. The guy that was going to clean up their models quit on them because they were a mess, and they'd refund all the money. So it didn't work out as a good business model for them. So I'm hoping that this guy's works a lot better. I also saw the next year at that same Comic-Con, there was somebody doing hand scanner units. I can't remember whose it was, and they were just doing like head scans, like just quick walk around head scans, and it seemed to be all right. So I'm hoping that his rig works. Yeah, I don't know if it's the Triangle Labs one that they're selling here or not. I didn't really ask a lot of questions. I saw one of the guys that's got one to try and play with it and see how it works. So, yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's true, Pooch. Like, yeah, people that want to make it and source all their own pieces, they aren't going to buy the full version anyways. And I get it. Some people really enjoy, finding all the pieces and building it themselves. I just, at this point in my life, I don't have time for a lot of that. I'd rather pay a little bit and have somebody else do a bunch of the work. So I just put it together and it kind of works. Unlike this Chinese scanner kit that I bought, which is probably going to be a scrap pile of parts soon. We'll see. Maybe it'll work out. Their software, I think, is going to need some help. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, popularity. Yeah, it's kind of, in one way, it's kind of a surprise that it's taken up until the last, 3-4 months for somebody to make a good direct clone of Prusa's machines, the Triangle guys and that. And I've bought Triangle parts before. Most of them I haven't used yet, but I've bought them before because they were cheap as backups. Yeah, that's true, Carl. That's what I said earlier. I think that his model of doing the scans and then he'll send you the pictures of it kind of thing. And if you like it, he asks for a donation. I think that's a fantastic way to do it. Covers his ass so that he doesn't have a big responsibility and the stress of having, I forget how many, somebody said 200 or 300 people, whatever he did over the weekend, however many scans he did, that's a lot of pressure to get those all right. I'm sure some of them might not be perfect. I'm okay if mine isn't perfect. As long as it's something, I'll work with it, right? I'll take it into ZBrush and clean it up. But we'll see. I hope that everything goes smooth for him and he can get them all right. It's going to take him a lot of processing time to rip through, 100 photos. In any of the photogrammetry stuff I've played with, takes hours to work through it to get a decent model out of it. One of the cool things that I saw at ERRF was in Mr. Repcord's booth. What do you call this one? Repwinder? Hope I got it right. Anyways, this is the kit, the parts to build the Repwinder spools for a rep box to use with the MMU predominantly. And I started printing the parts this morning actually, and using a new PETG, and the settings in the G code files are not right for the PETG I've got. So I'm doing a temp tower. I started that just before I started the stream. It'll take about an hour. I thought that would work out. Oops. And so I'll adjust accordingly, and I'll be printing in a transparent orange PETG. And for the first one, I'll probably do each one in a different color just so they'll look cool in the box. But so we'll see what happens. There was a phone-based scanner here out of Toronto area somewhere, I think, a year ago maybe. But it was 100 and change. It wasn't stupid. It was reasonable to play with. Repwinder, thank you. I'm looking forward to building it and working through it. So I'll start printing it after this. Actually, I'll go adjust the temps and the profile accordingly. I got a couple of questions, but I'll print some first and figure it out before I bug you. I know all the orange, every single oranges. I know I'm bad for that. I swear if somebody printed out a pile of shit and painted orange, I'd probably buy it. Sucker for orange. So, or to wrap up all your sample coils easily. Yes. No, I'm really looking forward to trying it out. I was intrigued by the ones that you had in Murph, the ones that Joe Mike was working with, and they seem to be working okay to me there. And then we talked about the differences in that, and I'm really looking forward to trying these and trying them out. And I'll try and print them out, put them together, see how they go, and give you some feedback at least on how the process goes. Yeah, this is just generic, local 3D Printing Canada. Who knows where it comes from? It's their house brand of PETG. But it was transparent orange, so, I had to buy it. So yeah, I did that. I pulled them up, and it's on my screen upstairs where I do all my slicing. It's up there. So it's all ready to go. As soon as the temp tower finishes and I pick one that I like, I'll run it with that, because it was too hot, it seems, for this filament. So, and if it doesn't work real well, I'll blame the filament and I'll just switch to another brand. I've got several here. I got a couple more here. So I was going to try it with the recycled stuff. I thought, oh, I'll try that. That'll be a good test. Like, no, don't test with that, because I'm not sure how that's going to go. They don't have a history at all. At least this stuff I've used their PET-G before. So I just got to get the temperature right, more or less. It'll get close enough for this run, for the first test. See how they fit together, and so I can learn how to assemble it. I'll probably video record me putting it together in case I screw up. So in case I have questions. Now that I have a rig and a place to do it, once I clear all this out of the way. Yeah, I try not, Matt, Jake. I try not to. The only people I bugged, I think, like that for support stuff at ERRF was Mosaic. And they're an hour and a half from me. I could drive to their office and bug them in person if I was really mad. But I know that I wanted to print the rep chopper on the pallet, because I wanted the Repcord logo to be orange, of course, in the army green main body. So I did it all in their canvas slicer, which I have to learn a lot about, because most of the problems I had were slicer things that I'm not familiar enough with the settings in their slicer at all. I can't even say yet, because I really haven't. I've done like 2 test prints, and then I printed that stuff, 3 test prints, and then printed it. I didn't even do all the ones they recommended to tune the machine yet, because I was in kind of a hurry and a bit pressed for time, because procrastination is, my thing. And so, yeah, it was good though. I looked for them a couple of times, and then I saw Mitch when I was filming, doing my walk around. When I get to the slice hot end people, the Mosquito, when I get to their table as I'm coming around, Mitch is there from Mosaic, and he's talking to them. I think he was buying a hot end. And so I mentioned to him that I had a couple of quick questions. This was Sunday mid-afternoon, not right at 4. And then he said, okay, I'll come by your table. I showed him I pointed where it was, because it was 20 feet away. And then I continued filming and kind of forgot to walk right back to my table. He got done, went to my table. I wasn't there. And then I could not find him. I walked all over the place, like 2 or 3 laps trying to find him, and couldn't find him. And then was kind of giving up. And then I caught him as he was taking his booth apart, and asked him a couple of questions. And he was nice enough to answer my quick questions, to not slow him down more, because he had to drive back to Toronto Sunday night. So, yeah. So I got a couple of hints, admitted right up front that it's probably me, and it is. Most of it's me. It's not their stuff. Their stuff's becoming a mature product, in my opinion. So yeah, it was cool. But yeah, instead of sitting on tech support with their chat support or calling them or anything and bugging them, I just thought it would be easy to ask them. I had the part right in my hand, like I had the bomb that I did. That's where it showed. My problem with their stuff is the supports, and I need to get the settings better for that. So I'll work on it. So he clarified a couple of simple questions, rookie stuff, and I'll go from there. So I got to get it hooked up. And if you guys can see the tape on the wall, that's marking the studs in the wall. There's another one missing here that I took down today, because I put up another monitor. But I want to mount one of the rep boxes right there. So it'll be on camera all the time, and I want to be able to use it. So, and then put one in the other 2 in the other room. I think I've got 2.12, I think. Whatever you uploaded yesterday or the day before and told me it was there. But I'll double check if there's a newer one. I'll check for 213. I think mine are 212 parts. But I'll double check before I send it down. Thank you. as everybody always says, it's the community that makes all this stuff work. Like, how often you get to talk to the guy that makes the stuff. I think it's one of the cool things with Prusa too, is that, he still shows up at the shows and wanders around and talks to everybody and has a good time, it seems. And how many companies do you know that you buy stuff from where, the guys that literally create the stuff and make it and run the business show up and you can actually talk to them? Not too often. So anybody got any other questions or anything they want to talk about before we wrap this up? We're an hour and a half in, and the Fun in the Country Basement guys will be starting in about just a little under an hour now, I guess. So how did your Pooch, how did your experience at ERRF go? I can ask you, seeing as you didn't have Catchy this week, so. My favorite thing I brought home from ERRF, besides a sore throat, not have much voice on Tuesday still. Man, it's tough to pick one. There's a lot of things that I'm looking forward to trying. I'm looking forward to getting some printers up and working, so I'm going to try some of the nozzle changing tools and see if they help me not snap throats on those, because I've done that before. I'm really looking forward to the rep winder, not just sucking up because Pooch is here. I'm really looking forward to trying that out, because I'm a mechanical guy, so that's kind of neat to me. Yeah, that's probably it. I mean, I bought filament because it's heavy and it costs a lot to ship. I wish that I could have got Prusament there, but I'm not one of those people that could get stuff like that there. I saw a couple of people. I saw one guy carrying a Prusa box one day. I said, "Oh, good choice." He's like, he goes, "I'm not supposed to be showing." He goes, "I don't think they were like bringing them here to sell them to people," but so that was cool. Yeah, that's it. Like when Ryan said shorten it to, not have a Sunday show, it's like I'd see nothing. I'd see nothing if they didn't have a 2-day show. I mean, I didn't have anything really to show as much at this event anyways. I chose to show models of people's work that I think are awesome and need more exposure. And it gave me a chance to talk to people, so that was cool. And show people a little bit about resin. I expected there to be more resin stuff there, seeing as it's kind of like the new thing in this world, but it was still largely an FDM show. Yeah, Martin, I think I'm kind of the same. Like, I don't think I'd get one for Murph. I don't know. I mean, you were really nice at Murph to let me stash my backpack and my camera and stuff there, so I didn't have to carry it around all day and make a lot of trips back to the car, because I ended up parking hellish far away a couple of times there on the weekend. But yeah, I wish I would. I was glad a couple of people liked the video walk around I did. I had trouble with the phone. It's an old iPhone 6s, I think, that I'm using on it right now, and it had a couple of connectivity issues with the Osmo unit. Part of that's because I've used it like 3 times, I think, since I've got it. I used it at Murph. I played with it one day at another event locally here, and then I thought about just going to the mall and just walking around, but I don't have to get hassling people shooting video of them and shit. So, but I should practice with it more so I'm better with it. But I thought it turned out okay. There's a few times though that I edited out where all of a sudden the camera just went womp and turned sideways because it lost connection and loses the gimbal. And I did not have my counterbalance unit I printed for it to balance the big 6S phone, because that thing was not made for that phone, but it holds it. I need to remember to bring all that stuff, prep better next time for that. I think I'll try and shoot more video at Murph. I don't see me trying to live stream from there, just because the Wi-Fi there is, not really, it's shared, so you're never going to get a great experience on it. It was interesting to see that some people that like, because F3D PCH streamed, Fun in the Country Basement streamed, Colin ran a stream sitting beside me. I don't know who else streamed beyond them. Those are the ones I'm aware of. But the quality of the stream, it jumps all over the place because it's open Wi-Fi, but I didn't even use the Wi-Fi at the event because I didn't want to pollute it and take away from them. I used the LTE 3G, whatever I could get there. Yeah, that's what I was noticing. Like, I helped Fun in the Country Basement check theirs maybe Saturday morning to see if it was working in that. So I just turned on my phone and just checked it there. And yeah, it was pretty bitty. And they were supposed to they'd arranged to have extra, like, step up the Wi-Fi for Saturday. They said it wasn't great Friday, but that they'd arranged to have it stepped up for Saturday. I don't know how that went. I wasn't using it, so I don't know. My hotel Wi-Fi was okay. I didn't pay the upgrade price for $5 a day. I just did whatever I wanted, and it seemed to be okay. It wasn't great, but it was all right. But in a perfect world, I would go there, shoot video during the day, go back to my hotel room, edit it quick, and upload it. But the social part in the evening is a big part of the event for me. Like, I like being able to talk to people and hang out with people, talk to Martin and people like that I don't see. And I think it's really cool that we do see, we get to know people, and then you get to see them in person, and that's kind of cool. So talk about other things for a change. Yeah, I know it's not rep resin printers, but it's still part of the same industry. So, and yeah, I really wanted somebody to have Soraya Tech resin there so I can buy some, because it's like $200 a liter here from some guy on Amazon Canada selling it, 175 and 200 and something he's selling it for. I'm not even sure if that's a liter. So it's just criminal, but they need to, hopefully I talked to Mark at Pio Poly a bit about that. And hopefully at some point they'll have a Canadian distributor so I can buy the stuff up here. Because crossing the border with resin chemical stuff with MDS sheets and that, I don't really want to play that game if I don't have to. But if I could have bought some and drove it across, I would have. And I could send it to my mailbox and stuff, but that's just, I still got to explain what it is at the border maybe. Yes, I did that too. Did you see that? If anybody watched my video, sometimes I'd be using the camera. I'd be especially like if there was I tried to concentrate on the stuff on the tables as I walked through, but if they had their banner up to see whose stuff it was, I would pan up or tilt up to the logo. Sometimes I went the wrong way, and you'd think I would do better, but yeah, I didn't get to watch Josh's video. He was shooting from his phone, like live walking the floor a lot. That's right too. I don't know how that was. I haven't watched it yet. I haven't sat down and watched people's stuff. I watched a bit of Colin's, and his camera was right beside me, so it catches me talking a lot. So go figure. And but that was cool. Yeah, I didn't even know about Filamentum stuff being stuck in customs. I noticed their table didn't have a lot of stuff on it, and they weren't pushing filament. We can buy that here. It's not cheap, but we can buy it here at least, because I've bought some before from filaments.ca. Yeah, I still think that if somebody really wants to live stream at these events, they've got to go with a like a mobile, like the backpacks with the multiple mobile cards and like, really do it. But most of us, we don't have that kind of money. Leave it to the live streaming pros and that to do it the way they run their rig with 6 different brands of mobile data cards in their unit, and it just picks the best one constantly. The machine in the backpack picks the best card and the best signal and uses it. So that's something I forgot to look at. I thought of it going down was the Hermes. I did not. Did they have one in the booth? I didn't even go look. I walked past E3D. My brain said, you bought a bunch of stuff at Murph that you haven't even looked at yet. Don't buy more, which is a weird voice in my head that I don't hear very often. And it was, so I walked by, a dozen times and didn't really stop there. If they would have had a big sign that said Hermes, I might have clicked in my head. Hey, there's Joe. How are you? We talked about you earlier. I said good things about you. So, and thank Filament One for helping you get there, because I do appreciate that. Did anybody see the Hermes there? I assume they had one there, or at least, when they were shown by hand, at least. I didn't. And I don't have a use case in my head for any of the multi-head deals yet. So I understand what they're for, but I don't have anything I can figure out what to do with it yet that I can use that I could potentially turn into a viable thing I could sell. Yeah, I know. Everybody's waiting for Murph now. Yeah, I was mad at myself when I realized driving home Monday that I totally missed the Hermes altogether, that I didn't even go look at it or think much about it. I'd heard it was announced and that and talked about, and then totally fanned on that one. If Prusa doesn't, somebody will. Oh, that's right, herpes. I forgot. That'd be a tough sell, eh? Sure, there's some country where herpes isn't a bad word. Try and get that through customs. What is this? It's the herpes. The what? Think plastic guns are a big deal? Try and get that shit across the border. Okay, thanks, Joe. Thanks for stopping in. Enjoy the movie. Cool. I trust your word, Pooch. Space herpes. I remember, okay, way back, Commodore 64 time frame. Commodore stuff, even though they had a Canadian office, was expensive and hard to get where I live. But I live 20 minutes from Niagara Falls, New York. And there was a Hills department store there, and they had good deals on Commodore 64 equipment. So I went over there and bought my first Commodore 64 and a dot matrix printer and a joystick. This is 1983-ish, maybe. Is that right? No, it's earlier than that. Whenever it was. Yeah, put that. So I know why I bought it. So coming back across the border, I get there, pull up to the gate, and this is before things got really serious at the border. The guy, so what'd you buy? I go, I bought a computer and Commodore 64. And I was all excited because it was a big deal, $200, whatever it cost. It was a big deal. And he goes, and what else? I go, and a joystick. He goes, a what? And my mind was, oh shit, he thinks it's a sex toy. And sure enough, he's like, what do you do with it? You plug it into the computer and you play with it. Yeah. But so I got handed a slip and had to go in and explain again what it was, and had to pay duty at that time. There was still duty on things, and it was $20 or something on the whole thing. But I had to go and explain again what a joystick was. Yeah, you plug it into a computer and you play with it. That doesn't sound good. And then they saw what shape it was, and it just didn't help either. So yes, I'm sure they do, but they don't have to declare a herpes at the border. What are they going to cost? $200-300 probably for me. So yeah, I'll get stopped for that when I buy one of those. I'll have to buy it up here. One of our local stores is apparently allowed to sell E3D stuff again. They were cut off their list for a while because they sold clone hot ends and stuff, because that's what their market is. That's what sells well for them. And they sold both, and I bought the real ones there, but they're back on the list apparently now. So yeah, I adore my 64. I find buttons every once in a while when I'm cleaning up boxes of stuff. I'm sure you do. We all did in the day. I think I'm caught up. Did I miss anything in the chat? Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, Martin, the hot end on what hot end actually ships on the Prusa Mini when they start shipping them. It'll be interesting. My concern, I have confidence that they're going to do it right and it's going to work well, but one of my first two printers, the biggest problem with them was stopping heat creep on a small hot end. My first machine was one of the A-frame ready rod, buy the parts at Home Depot type early. I call it the Prusa one, even though there is a Prusa one, but it's one of his designs, and that it was based on. And the guy made, like, the father-in-law of the guy that I bought it from, he was making the hot ends on a little mini lathe in his basement. I saw it. I watched him do one day when I was there getting mine fixed. But he was making the hot ends by hand, and the biggest problem in that design, I mean, I learned a lot through all that period, but was that the hot end was the downside. I ended up putting a clone E3D V6 on it from AliExpress near the end of its days with me. It was a 2.85 unit. So, and I only knew there was ABS back then. I didn't know there was anything else when I first bought that one. And then I had the M3D little one, which will be on the shelf soon. I found it upstairs the other day. And its problem was heat creep as well. You couldn't run. It's a good thing it had a small build area, because if you ran it too long, like when I ran it slow for flexibles to play with those, it would jam up all the time because the heat would there was no cooling fan on it. It was a kind of a cooling fan, but it needed more. So there's no part cooling at all on that little unit. So I'm hoping this one's going to be good. I trust that they've spent some time on it. And yeah, I heard there was discussion during somebody's speech, somebody's seminar there, about whose hot end was going to be on the Prusa Mini. So it'll be interesting. Heat is the enemy on most things. Heat and gravity. All right. We're coming up on 2 hours, so I think I've monopolized everybody's time enough. Hopefully distracted you from something less important. And thanks everybody for stopping in and watching me babble on about ERRF. And now we can all start getting ready for Murph. There's that Christmas thing in the middle somewhere. Do that. But other than that, my next focus will be first part of April. So Gravity always wins. Ask Shenanigans. All right. Thanks everybody for coming out. And be safe, and we'll see you in the next one. Next thing I'm going to probably do, we'll have to see. I'm going to put together that weird little oddball scanner. I don't know if I'll do that as a live stream because it's probably going to come with a lot of bad words as I try to figure out the sort of instructions that they've given me. And it's a pretty simple thing, so hopefully it'll go together okay, but I don't have a lot of pictures from angles to work from if their instructions aren't good, but I'm not sure if I'll stream that. I might. It'll be one night this week probably. So everybody have a good day, and Fun in the Country Basement starts in about half an hour or so. So hopefully I'll probably see some of you there. I'll probably be working on stuff here while they're talking. So thanks a lot, everybody, and have a good rest of your weekend.